everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari and these are my knitting podcast videos. And today we have another video full of everything that I have been knitting lately. And also I'm hosting a couple of knit alongs at the moment, so I will also be talking about those. I have had a bit more knitting time lately than I usually have, so I have quite a lot of things that I have been knitting lately, so a lot of things that I have finished and also things that are still on my needles that I want to show you in this episode today. I was in Madrid a few weeks ago, so the plane rides meant a bit more knitting time, and after that I got the flu, and that meant also a bit more knitting time. And when I got over my flu, then the rest of the family had it. So for example, last weekend I didn't do much else than sit on the sofa with my son and we watched movies and Ninjago on the TV. So I made quite a lot of progress with my knitting. My cat Luna is here as usually. I don't know what she's doing at the moment over there, but she's, you might have seen her tail in the at the edge of the screen at the moment, just a few moments ago. But yeah, like I said, I have a lot of things that I want to show you, and I have some new yarns that I want to show you as well in this video. But let's start with what I'm wearing at the moment. So this is the Laulu pullover, and I just released the pattern today, and you can get the pattern with a 20% discount until Monday. That is end of the day on Monday, midnight Finland time. And you can also get the matching Laulu shawl pattern with the same discount, so you don't need any code for that. So if you put the pattern or patterns in your basket on Ravelry or in my Shopify shop, then you can get the patterns with a 20% discount. But I will link everything I mentioned in this video below this video. So in the captions section of this video, so just below this screen, you can see everything that I talk about. So I will write down all the pattern names, all the yarn names, all the colorway names, everything below this video, and also all the links that you need. So you will find the link to my Shopify shop as well as my Ravelry shop and direct links to this pattern. So this is the Laulu pullover, and I started this as my Christmas cast on. So for the past few years I've had the tradition of casting something fun on Christmas Day, and this year I cast it on this sweater. So I made the yoke over the Christmas holidays, and then I made the rest of the sweater on my trip to Seattle and New York in January, and after that it has been test knitted, and today I finally released the pattern. So you can see it here if I stand up, so you can see the body. So it has a 2x2 ribbing on the hem as well as the neckline and the cuffs, and you can see that I made sure all the ribbing continues into the lace pattern seamlessly over here. So it's knitted top down. It has a bit of short rows on the back, so the back is slightly longer than the front, and that improves the fit. And it has this lace and cable pattern over the yoke, and I would rate this as adventurous beginner. So if you are just about to start knitting lace or cables, this is a very good place to start because the pattern is very easy. It has just like very basic cables here and there, and the most minimal lace that you can kind of like have. So it's very suitable for beginners. And the rest of the sweater, as it's in stockinette stitch and in the round, it's also super easy. And if the short rows feel intimidating, you can always leave them out, but like I said, short rows improve the fit, so I would recommend giving them a go. So there's nothing really hard about short rows. They sound a lot harder than they actually are, so just go for it. But anyway, link to the pattern is below this video, and if you get it before Monday, it's March 4th, then you can get it with a bit of discount. But anyway, that's the Laulu pullover. I can show you the yarns that I used because I absolutely love this combination. I think it's the most beautiful, like warm gray color. I kind of like want to knit everything in this color at the moment. I still have some leftovers that I'm thinking about maybe making a matching Laulu shawl with the same colors. I picked the yarns last summer when I was in Copenhagen, so there's the Knitting For Olive shop, and this is the combination that I chose. So it has the Knitting For Olive Merino and the soft silk mohair. So this is the colorway Rainy Day, and this is the colorway Dark Mousse. So as you can see, it's actually like grayish brown, and this is like a bit like bluish gray. So this is a combination that I probably wouldn't have picked if I was picking yarns online, because it's always so hard to compare colors on computer screens, but because I was at the shop, so I could just like mix and match everything, and I came up with this color combination, and like I said, I love it. I think it's so nice. It's like the perfect warm gray combination, and so nice. So this is the yarn combination for that. And speaking of grays, you will see that I have quite a lot of gray or grayish things on my needles at the moment, and also I have this new yarn. So when I went to Seattle and Bainbridge, I also visited the Lamb and Kid shop. So there's two yarn shops on the Bainbridge Island. So that's the Lambersery that I went to, as well as Lamb and Kid. And it was, I think it was so nice that they had like two shops that are totally different. So they carry different yarns. Lamb and Kid had more of like their own range, and I think they also had some spin cycles and stuff like that. Whereas Lambersery had Knitting For Olive, the Rerum, Natura, Labby and Amy and stuff like that. And also where Lambersery was like really like white interior, very well like mute colors, soft, and then Lamb and Kid was like the total opposite. So it was in this kind of like industrial hall that was painted almost black, like all the walls and the floors, and then there were like really colorful bright interiors like sofas and rugs and stuff like that. So I think the two shops complemented each other really well. So I got some yarn from Lamb and Kid. They were nice and they sent the yarn home to me, so I didn't have to carry the yarn around with me across the States and then to Finland. So they sent it home to me, and it arrived just maybe a week ago. So I haven't had time to cast on yet, but I have already drawn all the charts, so I know what I'm going to be making with this yarn. So this is the Tod base, and it's a DK weight yarn. 65% yak and 35% cashmere. It's super soft, and the colorway is called Window Pane, so it's kind of like this natural undyed gray color, and I'm going to be using it for a cable raglan pullover, and like I said, I have the charts drawn out, so as soon as I finish a couple of things that I have on my needles, then I will be casting on with this yarn. It's really soft, it's so nice. I can't wait to knit with that. Other things that I have finished, I actually made this. This is the first summer top that I finished for this year, and I made it in just a few days. Like I said, that my son had flu last week, so all we did was watch Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away and a lot of Ninjago. He's at that age at the moment. So I sat on the sofa and watched all the kiddie programs with him, and I had this like flow moment of knitting. So I cast it on a Poet summer top. So I'm hosting a Poet knit along at the moment. I will link the Ravelry group below this video, and that was like kind of like extempore thing for me to start hosting and also what to cast on. And it all started when Taylor Swift announced that she is releasing a new album in April, and it's called The Tortured Poets Department. And then I thought, what a perfect excuse to make a couple of more poet sweaters, poet patterns. So I decided to cast on the poet top, as well as I will show you soon. I have a poet tee on my needles as well. So I'm hosting a Poet knit along. It's kind of like this very low-key, just if you want to join me knitting some poet designs, if you use the code POET in my Ravelry shop or on my Shopify shop on sarinodl.com, you can get any of the poet patterns for 20% off. And it's the poet sweater, the poetry pullover, the poetry which is the like a circular yoke version of the poet pullover, as well as the poet socks and poet shawl. So any of those, you can knit any of those during the knit along. So the knit along is running until April 19th, when Taylor releases the new album. So I decided, like I said, to make a poet top during the knit along, but then I got a bit carried away and I finished it in just one weekend. So now I'm thinking whether I should make a second one. Maybe kind of would really love to have this in black as well. So here you can see if I stand up. So it has the poet pattern all the way down to the hem. The hem is kind of like double folded, so it gives it a bit of structure. So I didn't want to add ribbing for a summer top because I like tucking my summer tops in my pants, and then if it has ribbing at the edge, I have noticed that many of my summer tops start stretching at the front. The ribbing stretches, so I decided to do this kind of like double folded edge. So you can see here, so it's sewn on the inside. And for this one I used yarn that I bought last summer in Berlin. So I got this, it's from Ovis, etc. And this is their fingering weight Tussah silk yarn. So it has 350 meters per 100 grams, and doesn't have any colorway name. It just said that it's dyed with greener shades and acid dyes, but it doesn't have any colorway name written on it. But it's kind of like this really beautiful malva. It's not grey, it's not beige, it's not purple, it's not pink, it's something like shifts between all those colors. Super beautiful, kind of like this non-color that I really like. And like I said, it has this poet lace all over, and I cord straps. And I just finished writing the pattern. I just have to draw the rest of the charts, but I think I will be calling for test knitters for this one next week. So if you are interested in test knitting for me, I recommend that you follow my Instagram stories next week, because that's where I usually call for my test knitters. So I will put like this call for test knitters link in my Instagram stories. There's going to be a link to a Google form where you can like pick the size that you want to make, and some other options if there are like sleeve options. And of course this doesn't have any sleeve options, but so on. So there's like a Google Forms that you can click, and then my assistant Emma will go through all the applications and pick test knitters so that we have enough for each size. So that is the Poet top that I just finished. And even though I said that it's the first summer top that I finished, it's not the first summer top that I started. I will show you the Ballard vest in a minute, but first I will show you Poet that I mentioned. And like I said, I have a lot of grey things happening at the moment. I don't know, just for some reasons I'm like really into greys at the moment, and especially like this darker grey that has like a little bit of like almost a bluish tint. So this is the Poet tee, and again, no pattern yet, but it's based on the poetry pullover, so it's DK weight. It's going to have t-shirt length sleeves, and of course I will still add a ribbing at the neckband. I just really joined the body, so I took the sleeves on cable cords and joined the body last night, and looks like this at the moment. So I think I will continue with this skein until I run out of this skein, and after that I will put the body on hold and first make the sleeves and the neckband, and then work the rest of the body. It looks like this at the moment. Super happy how it's turning out. I think this is going to be so nice for the summer. And the yarn that I'm using for this one is from the Rerum Natura. It's the Pénélope yarn. I used this one a few years ago for my Foxberry tea, and it has been such a nice summer yarn. It doesn't peel at all, and even though it's DK weight, it's 90% wool and 10% silk. So because of the silk, it's a bit cooler than if it was just like 100% merino yarn. And colorway, I have no idea how to pronounce this, but you can read it over there. So this is like a dark grey color, and I'll write all the yarn names, pattern way names below this video, so you can like check that out. I bought this little, I think I have to do it like this, nail stickers for my son. He's really into Pokemon, so I bought these nail stickers for him, and he has them on all the fingers. He wanted me to have them as well, but I only put one Eevee on my index finger. So if you're wondering what I have on my finger, that's a little Eevee nail sticker. But anyway, Poet tea, and the Poet knit along will run until April 19th. All the Poet patterns are discounted -20% on Ravelry, and in my Shopify shop use the code Poet to get that discount, and the discount is valid until April 19th, until the end of the knit along. And I will be sharing photos, and if you share photos on Instagram, use the hashtag Poet KAL 2024, and if you share photos, then I will also share them in my stories so everybody can see them. But that's what's going on with the poet knit along at the moment. Other things that I have been finishing and making are the Ballard patterns. I think I showed you the finished Ballard pullover in my previous video. So this is also something that I started during my Seattle trip, and I named it after the Ballard neighborhood in Seattle. So this is like this very easygoing sweater design. I think I talked about in my previous videos that I had a couple of like resolutions, kind of like resolutions, not really resolutions, but aims for this year, and one of them was to make a couple of more like more simple patterns, and other one was to make more cardigans. And I think some of you misunderstood when I said that I'm going to make very simple patterns. I'm not going to start making just like very plain sweaters, but for me this is a simple pattern. I know that for some people this is already a lot of cables, but for me this is a simple pattern. So this is what I mean by making more simple designs. So if you're like more beginner to cabling, you might want to reach out for this one first, rather than, for example, the Mila pullover that I have over here that has like all over cables. So this might feel a bit more intimidating if you're not that familiar with cable knitting. So maybe this is something that you want to start with first. So this, for me, this is like more simple making. So this is the Ballard pullover, and it's currently being test knitted, so I'm hoping to release the pattern at the beginning of April. And I also turned the pattern into a t-shirt as well, so that is currently also being test knitted. And since I don't always have time to knit everything that I want, and I'm also working on a lot of different things, I have a couple of sample knitters who work for me. So I have one of my sample knitters working for a Ballard tee for me, and I bought from Barcelona this like really beautiful shade of like chocolate brown cotton yarn from We Are Knitters, and that's something that I just sent to my sample knitter, so she will make me a Ballard t-shirt with that yarn, and I will show it to you as soon as it's ready and I get it back from my sample knitter. But if you sometimes wonder how I knit so quickly, that one of the reasons is that I don't knit everything that you see on Instagram. I don't knit all my samples, but I usually say if I knit it myself, and if I'm talking more like in passive, then like this is knitted in so on, then maybe I didn't knit it myself. But anyway, the Ballard pullover is coming in April, as well as the matching Ballard tee. And I also made Ballard vest. I just bound off the stitches for the hem 2 nights ago. So I blocked it and it's waiting to be worn. So this is the same cable pattern that I used for the Ballard pullover, and it a slightly slimmer fit for the vest, and it has like I-cord edges around the neck as well as the armholes, and this as well has this folded hem, so it has like this a bit of stockinette stitch over here, so it folds nicely and it will keep the bottom edge kind of like sturdy when you wear it. So this is the Ballard vest that I made, and I used again another dark gray knit. I used BC Garn Allino. This is the first time that I used this yarn. I was googling around for DK weight linen and cotton yarns, and I found this one, so I wanted to give it a try. So this is 50% linen and 50% cotton, and it has a kind of like this smart look. I think it's because there's like this strand of cotton plied together with a strand of linen, and after that it has been dyed, so the different fibers have taken the color a bit differently, so that I think the cotton is the lighter part and the linen is the darker part, so it has kind of like this a bit of a marled effect. And I was first going to use this for another summer top with a bit more cables, but when I started it, I noticed that this color of the yarn, because of the two different shades applied together, it was a bit too busy for more complicated cable pattern. But I think for this one it looks really nice. So the cables are simple enough that the little bit of variation in the color doesn't really disturb it. But here it is, and I think this is going to be really nice. I'm hoping to get to wear it soon. There's still snow on the ground here in Finland. I've been jealously looking at like Southern Europe photos, or even Denmark. I think Denmark already has like crocuses and tulips coming out of the ground, and we still have a lot of snow over here. But let's see if we will get a more spring-like weather very soon. But I was also thinking I could wear this over like a shirt. That's kind of like one of my ideas for this design. It's not Luna, but it's our Atkat Marlon. Yeah. Trying to go into some boxes I have over there. But anyway, those were the Ballard designs. I have two more things here, and then a bit of yarn that I want to show you in today's episode. The next pattern that I'm releasing after this is going to be the Mila pattern. So we have the Mila pullover, another pattern that I casted on during the USA trip. So if you have been following me on Instagram and you watched my previous video, then you have already seen it. So I have made the sleeves, and now I'm working on the body. So I'm going to make a couple of more pattern repeats, and then the hem ribbing. So this is the Mila pullover, and then we have the matching Mila cardigan over here. So the cardigan is something that I made first. So I made this already. I started it last November when I was in Barcelona, and the Mila pullover got its name from Gaudi's Casa Mila in Barcelona, because I think the color and the texture reminds me of that house. And I was sitting and knitting the sample in front of Casa Mila in Barcelona, and it was so fun that I was knitting, and then I looked up and then I realized that they look exactly the same, so that's why I decided to name it Mila. So this is the cardigan version of it, and over here we have the pullover version. So for this one I'm using Camellia Fiber Company's Yak DK. This is the colorway dark chocolate. It has yak and silk and I think merino wool, if I remember correctly. You can see it has an amazing stitch definition, beautiful sheen, so it's like so nice for cables, and it's so nice to touch and to knit. I absolutely love working with this yarn. Definitely going to use it for something else next autumn as well. I hope it's still available. And then, because I love it, and for the cardigan version I used Wool Dreamers La Ringonada, and this is the Niebla colorway. So these patterns are both coming next week. I just have to finish the pullover sample, but it's being test knitted at the moment, and I have seen my test knitters versions of the sweater, so it looks so nice. I can't wait to finish mine and start wearing it. And the last thing that I wanted to show you is the book club cardigan. I have been a bit lazy with this one, so I should pick up the sleeves for the stitches for the sleeves, and for some reason I haven't had the energy to do that. Also would require a bit of math to calculate the correct amount of stitches to pick. But as you can see over here, I finished the whole body, and I made a double knitted bottom band. So here the buttonholes over here. I haven't picked up the buttons for this one yet, and also I made the pockets. So these are made kind of like you make the afterthought heel. So I just like made one stripe with waste yarn over here, and then undid it, and you can see that a lot of yarn ends still weave in. So this is what the pocket looks like. So I wanted to continue with the cable pattern over one side of the pocket. So when the pocket is slightly open, you can still see that the cable continues into the pocket, and it's not like there's going to be a stockinette stitch showing, but there's like the cable pattern you can see over there. So that's how they are made, and here's the back. So it has this diamond cable and a bit of moss stitch in between. So it's going to be so nice once I finally finish the sleeves. I actually put it on like this, and it would look really great as a vest. So maybe next autumn I will also make a book club vest, but this is going to be a cardigan, so I will make the sleeves. And after I finish the sleeves, or at least one sleeve, then I will call for test knitters for this one as well. And I think I said in my previous video that it's knitted with silk mohair and DK weight yarn. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I all the time thought that this yarn that I'm using is a DK weight yarn. It's kind of like quite plump, and when it was on the skein, and when I was starting to knit the cardigan and I ran out of the first skein of mohair, and there was like so much of the other yarn left that I started to think that how is this possible. But usually if you have a 100 gram skein of DK weight yarn, it has the same amount of meters as one 25 gram of mohair. So I had like well over half a skein left of this yarn when I ran out of the mohair, and I was like, how is that possible? And then I started to look more closely at this yarn, and I realized that it's not DK weight. I have been saying to everybody that it's a DK weight yarn. I realized that it's actually sport weight. So it has 350 meters per 100 grams. So it's like heavy fingering or sport weight yarn. This is something that I bought from Madrid 1 year ago, from Love Yarn Madrid. This is the knitted closet, my knitted closet organic wool. It's undyed yarn, colorway is Natural 03, and like I said, it's a sport weight yarn, 100% organic wool, and I'm matching it with my knitted closets, the silk mohair, and the colorway is called walnut. So this is the combination that I'm using for this one, and it looks like I'm going to be having quite a lot of leftovers with this one because I bought enough skeins that I would have needed for DK weight yarn, and now I kind of like almost have a double amount, so I have to come up with an idea what to make with the rest of this. So this one I have just the right amount, but I'm going to be having quite a lot of extra of this one after I finish the book club cardigan. But anyway, it doesn't matter, the yarn is really nice, I like working with it, but it just feels sometimes really stupid for some reason. I don't know, I have no idea why I have been thinking that is like a DK weight yarn all the time, but it doesn't matter. Luckily I noticed it now and not like after I have finished the pattern and everybody's starting to make it and wondering why they can't get the gauge. I said in the beginning of the video that I'm actually running 2 knit alongs, so today is the first day of the Pohjola pullover knit along, and when I showed Pohjola pullover on Instagram, there were people saying that they wanted to have a knit along with this one, so now we are hosting it and it's running until the end of April. So if you want to get the Pohjola pullover pattern, there's also a 20% discount for that. So if you use the code Pohjola, I will write all these discounts and the discount codes below this video. So check them out over there. That's the easiest way. So we have the Poet knit along with the Poet code, and we have the Pohjola knit along with the Pohjola code, and then we had the Laulu pullover introduction discount that is you can get until Monday, but the other ones are longer. So the Poet knit along discount is valid until April 19th and the Pohjola pullover is until April 30th. So Casey and me, Casey is from Young Folk Knits. We are co-hosting a knit along for the Pohjola pullover, so I will be casting on my Pohjola tonight, and this is the original sweater. I actually made this one almost 4 years ago, so it was the first COVID summer in 2020. I was working on my first book. It's the one that is only in Finnish, and this pattern is originally from that book. And I just released the English pattern individually at the beginning of December, and we got some really sad news just this week that the yarn brand that I made this one originally in, so it's a Finnish dyer called Kässäkerro Pom Pom, and this is their Finn sheep fingering, so Suoma single base, and they decided to close their shop. So this yarn is no longer available, unfortunately. So I think all of these are like good reason for me to cast on a second Pohjola pullover, as well as I think the most important reason is that I remember I really enjoyed working on this when I made it a couple of years ago, almost 4 years ago, like I said, in 2020. So I kind of like wanted to cast on a new one. So I got these yarns from Sonder Yarn Company. So they put they made like these really nice Pohjola pullover sets, and when I saw this combination online I fell in love with it immediately, because this olive green is one of my absolute favorite colors ever, and this is a very hard color to find, like the perfect olive green, and it's like something that looks really good on me, so this is like a perfect color for my skin tone and hair color. So when I saw this set I knew immediately that this is something that I want to make my second Pohjola pullover in. So this is the Sunday morning 4-ply from Sonder Yarn Company. It's 75% Bluefest Leicester and 25% Masham wool. And this is the colorway Offline. And this is a Mani Pedi. And this one is Staycation. So Staycation is going to be the body, and these two are going to be for the color yoke. So kind of like this. So I can use gray and purple and this most gorgeous olive green color. So this is something that I'm casting on tonight. I'm so excited about that, and I will link the Pohjola pullover knit along Ravelry page below this video as well, so you can check that out from there. We are going to have some prizes for that knit along. First of all, I will be giving out 1 copy of my book, Softly Timeless Knits, as well as 5 sets of patterns. So 5 winners who each get to pick 2 patterns from my Ravelry store, and I will add those to their Ravelry libraries or send them by email if they want. And we decided that you can either cast on a new project like I'm going to do, or if you already casted on a Pohjola pullover, you can still join. You can continue with your sweater project during the knit along. And because I want to promote mindful making, so I didn't want to have like the stress of needing to finish something by a deadline, especially needing to finish something to be able to apply for the prizes. Instead, I wanted everybody to join, to be able to join, so you don't have to finish your pullover during the knit along. It doesn't matter if you started on the 30th of April, which is the last day of the knit along, that's fine. As long as you start or continue new knit on your pullover during the knit along with us, that is everything that you need to do. And if you want to join the chat, that you can do that in the Ravelry group, and of course you can also share photos on Instagram using the hashtag Pohjola KAL. And again, for this knit along as well, I will share all the photos with that hashtag in my Instagram stories. So if you link me in your photos, then I will definitely see them. I won't be missing them, and I will share those in my Instagram stories so everybody can see them. But yeah, that's about the knit along. I have actually two things that I wanted to still show you. There are yarns that I'm going to be using. So I already have all the summer knits on my mind at the moment, and I went to my local yarn shop Snurre last week, and they had this most beautiful new yarn from Isagar, and this is the Isagar Trio 2. I used this for my Saltkråkan tea last summer, and they had come out with new colors, and this is the khaki green color, so it's really nice. In some lights it's almost brown, and then in some lights it's just like a hint, very like small hint of green, again along with this olive green, one of my favorite shades. So this is going to be either a summer top or a summer tee. I haven't decided. They also had very similar brown like this that I also want to use for something, favorite colors, and I want to use. So I don't know yet, maybe a tee or a top. So this is a sport weight, but it's a very light sport weight, so it's very thin yarn, so I would maybe call it more like fingering, even though it's 175 meters per 50 grams. So it's basically, it's a sport weight yarn, but it's like very on a very thin side of sport. Like I said, I would call this fingering weight yarn rather than sport weight yarn. So if you're looking for substitutions, I would most probably pick a fingering weight yarn rather than a sport weight yarn. So for example, if you compare it with this one, you can see here the difference in the threads. So this is so much thinner than this one, even though they have the same amount of meters per the weight. So this is the last thing that I wanted to show you. Marlon here with me. He doesn't want to stay. He's in a very playful mood at the moment. But anyway, this is the Pénélope. It was the same yarn that I was using for my Poet and I used the dark grey one for that, and this is the creme colorway. So I'm going to be using this for, I had this idea for a little vest in my mind, so this is going to be a vest pattern. So it's going to have a v-neck and it's like very I don't know yet. I have two ideas that I'm contemplating between. So either it's going to have a bit of like very simple lace, or then it's going to be a bit of like cables and garter stitch. Haven't decided yet. Let's see which version I will go with. But anyway, it's going to be a little vest with buttons in the front that you can either wear as a vest or as a sleeveless top, or if you want to wear it, for example, over a dress open with the buttons open, then you can also do that. But something I think I will be casting on either already this weekend, depending if I get a couple of things of my nails. For example, I'm going to be casting on the Pohjola pullover today, and the Mila pullover needs to be finished if I'm going to be releasing the pattern next week. So I definitely have to finish this sample before releasing the pattern, otherwise I have to push the pattern release date a bit. So those things need to be happening first before I can cast on anything new. But this is going to be a vest, and I'm super excited about that idea that I have. That's everything I had for today. There's a lot of things that I showed you. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video, and if you like my videos, remember to subscribe to my channel, and then you will always get a notification when I put out a new video. But that's everything for today. See you soon again. Bye!